My name is Kis Allen Glover. I'm the Director of Enrollment at Truman College, and I'll be your moderator for today's exciting student panel. We'd like to thank our partners, City of Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and CEO of Chicago Public Schools, Dr. Janice Jackson. Today's panel it needs very little introduction. We have the student. And one of the things that I've learned throughout my career is students love talking and listening to other students. And we have three of the best from across the City College spectrum. But before we go any further, I'd like to bring in Laura Cheatham, Associate Dean at Truman College, to explain the technical concept around today's panel.
Hi, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. As an attendee, you'll see that your mic and camera does not work. And so we want you to be able to participate and engage with our students and ask questions or share any concerns that you have. So you'll see a Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. If you click it, a new window will pop open. That'll allow you to type in anything that you want the panel to be able to see. We'll take those questions throughout, so please start sending them over as they come up. And Nick Nicholson is the IT director at Truman College, and he's here for any tech support that we may need as well. So we're here as a resource to you. So if you have any problems, just send it in the chat and turn it back over to Kis Allen.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And good morning, Brother Nick Nicholson. Hey, before we get started, before I introduce this incredible panel, remember to follow along. It's still not too late. We're just getting started. You can send this link, www.ccc.edu/virtual-week, and you can tap in on this exciting panel. I have students, and anybody who knows me know I love rocking with my students and listening to them. I learned so much. So without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce today's panel. From the Olive Harvey Panthers, our girl, she is so excited to have fun. Please help me welcome Miss Tamara Carr.
Hello.
What's up? What's up? The Truman College Experience very own SGA President, Truman College. Please help me welcome Miss Alexandria Carrie.
Hi.
And my main man, studious, on the ball. I mean, ready ever. Big time, Daily College Bulldogs. Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, to Miss Chris. That's what's up, man. Hey, I like bringing you on the stage, right? Because here's the interesting part. We get a chance to talk to students from our lens. This is a different time. It's a different angle, right? And so as we talked about in the pre-production, guys, let's talk, right? So let's jump right in. Christopher, let's start with you.
Okay.
What advice would you like to share with individuals trying to decide which higher education institution to attend? In particular, city colleges, what advice would you like to give?
Well, so I'm gonna give a little story to go along with my advice. So personally, for me, I graduated top 3 in my class in Bogan High School, and so for me, like going off to a 4-year university was the big thing that a lot of my counselors wanted me to do. Like, oh, you should go here, you should go here, and I was like, yeah, I'd love to go here, but I wasn't receiving enough money. So luckily for me, Daily College, they were giving me a full ride from the Star Scholarship. So I was like, this could definitely be an option for me. So what I would really want to say to you guys is, don't let people determine where you should be going. You should be going where you guys want to go, that makes you feel comfortable, like where you fit in, where you feel like you belong. And at that moment in time, I felt like going off to community college before I went off to a 4-year university was really the best decision for me. So really with my first semester at Daily, I really got to see, like, coming in second semester, a lot of those students who I graduated with started coming back from those 4-year universities and then started building up that debt. So if you guys have a chance to come to City College, whether it's Daily College, Olive Harvey, Truman, I would highly suggest it.
My man, Chris, let me back up a little bit, and I apologize that I didn't give you the proper introduction. Chris Petty is a Star Scholar. And for those of you all who are listening, let's make sure Star Scholar is a program where with a B average as a CPS graduating senior, you receive free tuition. You receive 3 free years of tuition to complete a 2-year degree. Is that correct, Chris?
Correct.
So
correct.
what Chris is referring to, ladies and gentlemen, is the STAR Scholarship and the decisions he had to make around finance. So I appreciate that, right? And we'll talk about that. We'll get a little bit more in depth with that. Miss Carrie. Welcome
Yep.
again. I see you. I know you. It's kind of early. You TikTok famous, and
Yes.
so you're probably just relaxing right now. But speak to us about Student Government Association and the purpose it serves on a campus, on a college campus.
Mhm. So, on some campuses, now I won't say all, but some campuses, there isn't this connect with your faculty and staff and students. The faculty and staff aren't hearing what the students need, and the students aren't hearing what the faculty and staff need. So basically, the student government serves as a liaison between the two. It is also an opportunity for students' voices to be heard on campus, to know that, hey, you're the reason why we're here, and this is what we need to succeed. So that's the purpose of student government.
Absolutely, and elaborate a little bit. Why is it so important for a student voice to be heard on these campuses?
Because student experience as a total is important, because if a student is not, because you go to school more than just for academics. So if a student is not getting the, let's say, the food that they need, or beyond that, the resources that they need, there wouldn't be a purpose for them more to be on your campus than just for this class. And you don't want students to just only go to class and come home. It's going to seem repetitive. It's going to get boring after so long. So the overall student experience includes all these things in one, and that's why you need to hear where students need more money put towards the library, because they want to spend more hours there rather than the cafeteria, because they don't spend too much time there for food.
Okay, thank you. That's excellent. All right, Ms. Carr, welcome again. We are so glad that you joined us this morning as a student for CCC, City Colleges of Chicago. How do you work with your advisor and your instructors? What does that relationship look like?
Well, as far as my advisor, she is amazing. Okay, so whenever I have a question, no matter what time it is, she always replies. Like emails, she replies completely. But I think it's because I be blowing her up, like, I need help with this. So like with her, she works for me. She helps me go out a plan as far as my academic plan. For me, I want to do culinary. So me being at Olive Harvey, but I had a scholarship for volleyball. So she helps me get connections between Kennedy King and, classes I could take there and still attend Olive Harvey. As far as my instructors, well, okay, let's start with the online, for example. I don't have a computer. So me emailing them like the library's closed, my only instructions to do homework, what's library at school. Well, take your time. You can mail me your work. You can take a picture and send it to text, and I'll look at it through there. Like, they're really helpful. So like the connection between my instructors, they're easy. Like, they understand the pandemic, they understand my circumstances. So they're really helpful as far as that. And I feel like the better that I feel like, the more time I email them and ask questions, the more time it's helpful for me.
Excellent. I think that when you talk about, shouts out to your advisor as well. It's always good when you guys glow around your connection with faculty and advisors. It warms my heart, because I know that there are a lot of dedicated employees and people throughout city colleges, and so it's always good to hear that they're taking care of you, because that's important. Chris, I know you got into it a little bit earlier, but go a little bit more in depth and describing your decision process around attending city colleges. Was it all based on funds? Was it all based on the financial situation?
Yeah, so for me, it was really, money was the biggest deciding factor in any of my decisions. So I come from a family of 6, so it's not only just me. So with a lot of these schools I was getting accepted into, I was still gonna be in debt. There was a lot of money that I still needed to pay just out of pocket that weren't covered by my scholarships. So luckily through the STAR Scholarship, CCC I felt like was my best option. Personally, I didn't feel like I was ready to go off to a 4-year university. I felt like I just need a little room to transition in between high school straight into college, going straight into college. So I felt like Daly was really there for me, helping me with that transition into college and setting me up for success to be able to transfer out going into the fall, actually.
Excellent. And so where are you now in your educational journey?
So for me personally, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find out what's my next move. What school am I going to now? Honestly, I got a few choices that I'm still trying to decide. I still haven't made my decision yet. I have a potential full ride at Elmhurst College. I also have a potential full ride at Jackson State through the Phi Theta Kappa, which is the honor society on campus.
Yes.
I
Shout out to
also
Phi
have
Theta Kappa.
I also have a few options through Illinois Tech as well as Northern Illinois through the Star Scholarship. So right now for me is where do I want to go? That's just my next decision. Do I want to be close to home? Do I want to be in Mississippi? Because whenever I tell people about Jackson State, they're like, all the way in Mississippi from Chicago? Why? It's just like, so it's like, for me, it's just like, well, if it's free, it's a free experience that I get to explore. So it's really all about finding myself.
Don't underestimate that the power of the HBCU either. It has the ability to change your life in different ways. Alex, what was the biggest surprise? Now you're an alumnus of what high school?
Chicago Military Academy of Bronzeville.
Military, shouts out Chicago Military Academy. What was the biggest surprise? I know that you came on as well as a Star Scholar. What was the biggest surprise or biggest misnomer when you got on campus at Truman College?
The diversity.
The
diversity was amazing. The
So,
type of close-knit family feeling that you get on Truman campus was amazing. I didn't have that same feeling, no shade. I used to be a student of Harold Washington when I was in high school, and I did not get the same feeling of diversity and a close-knit family until I got to Truman after I graduated.
So that kind of caught you off guard. So am I assuming that you've met lifelong friends at this point?
I have met some lifelong friends.
Right. And in terms of that, right, because I think one of the things that students, as I work with students, Director of Enrollment, Truman College, for some reason they think that student experience is going to be eliminated, right, Ms. Carr, when they come to, when they attend city colleges, they feel like, what's up with my student experience, right? But I know that at Olive Harvey, you have the sports team, you have the baseball team, you have different things. I know the GCI is always on campus. You're always hosting incredible, engaging events around students. What has your student experience been like so far on the campus of Olive Harvey?
I feel like, well, my first day coming in, we came in from volleyball. So I was thinking like, I'm not gonna really know nobody. I'm not gonna walk to class, go to practice and come home. Nope. Walked in first day, some girl walked up to me and said, hi. Like she just started talking to me and I know who she is and I am not a people person, okay? So she scared me. I'm like, hold up. And she's like, yeah, I'm a sophomore here. I would like, just start asking me questions. I'm thinking like, no, just like some type of scam, that she got to walk in and talk to the students. Like, nope, she's made her my friend, like literally, like then I found out she was on the volleyball team. It was like, yes, that is mine. Yes. Shout out to her. Yeah, she helped me. She's like, yeah, go this. She told me where the library is. She told me the directions of the school. Like, like it's like, you got the 1A and yeah, that's I still have trouble finding my classes because of that. But definitely I think it's just the friendliness. Like it's not like, you go in there and you just walk past people and you'll never meet them. Like they walk, they speak, hello, good morning, all the time. I just feel like when it comes to like a family, like you can walk in and be like, oh, I know I'm gonna have a good day today. I know I'm gonna walk to either I'm gonna make somebody smile or somebody's gonna make me smile. I think Olive Harvey is more of a like welcome, like, just bring your friends and family and it's amazing. At first I thought I wasn't gonna have no experience because I didn't have, the campus parties or, didn't have, the parties, homecoming, but they actually were supposed to have a homecoming, they the SGA definitely helped and listened to our problems because I know when I first came in there, we wasn't supposed to have anything to do. We had a homecoming party, we had a pep rally, like it was fun, and I think they actually listen to our problems. Like in certain schools, they don't really know. They say they're gonna do it, and then after you graduate after 2 years, now they want to do it. No, I think it's more of a snap. Like, yeah, that's what you want to hear. Well, let's make accommodations for it.
Let's make it happen. I appreciate you once again. Thank you all. Virtual College Exploration Week, City Colleges of Chicago. On behalf of Chancellor Juan Salgado, I'm Kiss Allen Glover. I'm your moderator. We want to thank our partners, City of Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot and CEO of Chicago Public Schools, Janice Jackson. Today's panel, Dr. Janice Jackson, today's panel is about students. It's about student life and student experience. And I don't think it gets any better. I had an opportunity earlier this week to talk with all of you presidents. Shouts out to Daily Bulldog president, Truman president, Olive Harvey president. And they spoke some of the same sentiments. So it's interesting, right? We're not in the same room, but to get the same feeling from President Hollingsworth and President Janowski and President Jackson around the experience, right? And so with that said, Chris, what resources have you found extremely helpful that you would like to share with listeners? What resources are there that you would like to share?
So my number one resource for me is actually my academic advisor. That's probably the one thing that I've used the most since coming into Daily. And honestly, all our staff is amazing. Working as a Star Ambassador, I've gotten to build friendships with my academic advisor, literally just all staff and faculty around campus. I just be walking around and be like, hey, Chris, just get the waving along. But academic advising, that was my go-to, building a relationship with my advisor. She's the one who's been helping me look into my schools that I really need to transfer into, what classes I should be taking. At one point, I even had to drop a class, and she was there to this is the steps that you should be taking. Here's the steps that you should be taking to transfer. Like, she's literally been there for everything since day one for me.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And so we'll shift a little bit. I'm a proud father of a set of 21-year-old twins. They are college bound. They're in universities. They're actually home now. And one of the things my daughter and I talk quite a bit, and she says she's tired of talking about what's going on right now, right? So let's shift a little bit. She says she's just tired of it. It's not that big of a deal in terms of the adjustment that she has to make. Now, that's how she feels. Talk to me about the adjustment that you've had to make going to this virtual remote learning modality, right? Talk to me. I know earlier you mentioned, Ms. Carr, you don't have a computer. I'll start with you, Alexandria. What are some of the adjustments, if any? Has this been a smooth transition? What are some of the adjustments you had to make?
It has been a smooth transition, but to an extent. Certain things that I miss doing is going to class because it's kind of my life, and now it's like I don't have a life to an extent. But it's pretty much smooth. Everything my professors did was pretty much written out. We meet, but we really don't. It's like they announce something, they post the assignments, and we post to that depending on what the class is. I believe the only class that's the most active for me is my biology class. Faithfully meet every week. It's like class just online.
Excellent, excellent. Ms. Carr, what has this adjustment been like for you?
I don't know where to start. Okay, first, I'm a hands-on learner. Okay, the point of me going to school was to be hands-on and interact with other people.
Yes.
I have the option of going to class. Let's be honest. Am I really going to choose the option to get online to sit there and listen to a professor and watch a screen? No, I would have chose online. That's what I wanted. I just feel like it's not hard. It's not hard to do. It's not impossible, but it's just more struggling for me because of circumstances. I have to struggle to get online on my phone, have to do homeworks and the essays. I have a 10-page essay I have to do on my phone. I just feel like, and then it's just too much. It's just like my humanities teacher literally just found out toward the end of the school course that she's been doing Zoom classes, and I have not been getting no emails for it, none whatsoever. She expects us to just know we apparently have used the same code, and I did not know that. So then I had to email her and let her know that I was unaware. And I just feel like I just I don't my biggest thing is not to fail. I don't care what it is. If it's
That's what's
coming
up.
to like figure out how I'm gonna draw this picture. If this angle don't go that way, I'm gonna be mad. Like I can't fail. I don't care what I do, I just can't fail. So I just feel like there's more disadvantages than there are advantages. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I have more time to do work because the pushbacks and etc. the deadlines, but it's just like just because I have more time doesn't mean give me more opportunities. Like I need like tomorrow you need to do this day. Like I need that in order to function. I need that. I need a set plan, a set list. Like by this time you have to do this and this is due. Now I get, well, just make sure everything due by May 7th. No, because I'm a procrastinator. Okay, I'm gonna procrastinate the last minute, and then yeah, it's gonna be a whoosh.
That's interesting because one of the things that oozes off of this Zoom is your determination and your persistence, right? I think that anybody who's listening, they can hear that you're struggling, but they also hear, I know I do, that you're going to get it done, right? And so I think from a student perspective, those that are listening, they're ones that mirror your feelings, right? There are students right now saying, yeah, I get her. Yep, I know exactly what she's saying.
With the hand, too.
Right? They talking with the hand. But here's what I'll tell you. They're also going to get it done. And so I appreciate you. And before I go any further, super proud of all three of you guys. Because and just in our interactions, I know you're going to be successful. Just through the emails and the way that we've been communicating with one another, you got a plan. And that plan, obviously, right, that plan doesn't always go exactly the way we want it. But, through some of the things that you've talked about, some of the friendships you've built, some of the resources that you use, what's happening now is I'm hearing success. And I would tell you, nothing just happens without some obstacles. And so I appreciate you. Chris, talk to me a little bit. How is the change to this virtual platform? How's it work for you?
So for me, school-wise, it's been an effortless transition. It feels easier taking them online than it is taking them in class. So for me, school-wise, I'm doing well actually. But from a work standpoint, it's been kind of a rough transition because normally I'm on campus 25/8. I always got something to do. I'm always running around. So for me, just having to sit down in my house all day, not being able to really move around, that's been the hardest thing for me. So like I've kind of been keeping myself occupied like after I'm done with my homework just to get on the game. But the game can only satisfy me for so long. I really need to get around and like move.
So that's interesting, right? We talk about the game. We talk about the game. We talk about some other things. What are you guys doing outside of work? Ms. Carr, what are you doing outside of your schoolwork other than the game? I'm not going to let you use the video game. What are we doing to kind of strengthen our mind and our bodies?
Sleeping. I just feel like that's the best opportunity. If I'm not playing the game, I'm sleeping, and if I'm not sleeping, I'm eating. I just feel like that's the daily routine. I mean, besides, the let's go to the grocery store. I come. We going outside? Yeah, let's go. Like, then I get to the store. Yeah, put the face mask on and the gloves. Like, man, I got time for that. I can't breathe no air. If you just I could have just stayed in the house. Like, no. So yeah, I'm stuck. I feel like being there is gonna give me ADHD because what I'm gonna do? I can't sit still.
I challenge you guys. I've really gotten a partner of mine that I work with. Shouts out to Charlie. He got me into puzzles, right? He has me into puzzles, and I've ordered a few puzzles and really having a good time, right? Kind of putting those pieces together and just kind of meditating around that. Takes up a large part of my day. I challenge you, right? I challenge you to find something outside the box that maybe you thought about, maybe you thought it wasn't cool at one point. Gives us an opportunity, right, to just strengthen our mind. I try to do my push-ups, my sit-ups, things like that. But yes, so there are a few questions coming in. Once again, I want to make sure for our listeners, we're at www.ccc.edu/virtual week. Here with students, having a great time. How you guys feel so far?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good. I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
definitely.
I appreciate your energy. It's important. There are students listening that are going to make decisions, right? And you're helping them along the way. So I cannot thank you enough. I've been really looking forward to this particular panel. We had a question coming in because they are looking for you guys. Let me get it. We had a question coming in that talked about and this is for any of you, what does a day in a life on campus look like and feel like and sound like? What does a day in the life of a City Colleges of Chicago student look like, feel like? And if all of you want to take a stab at it, that'd be great too.
Well,
That was good.
okay. For me personally, I play sports. So when I walk in, I go to classes. After that, most of the athletes meet in the lunchroom or in the study hall, and we talk, we communicate, and it's fun. Or if not, let's be honest, we hang out with the trainer because she's amazing. Shout out to Colleen, best trainer I've ever seen. If we're not like in the study hall, we're probably in the gym shooting the ball or playing with the volleyball. It just depends. Like I feel like, well, for me personally, of my first year, it's not boring at all. There's nothing boring. Like there's something to do every day. If athletes aren't doing nothing, there's something downstairs going on with SGA. I got pride in the face. Oh my gosh, because I was an athlete. The pie in the face, oh my gosh, it was so crazy, man. I was so mad, but it tastes good, so it's okay. So I just say there's not a day that goes by when it's not boring. And if you feel like it's boring and you say something to somebody, your day is gonna turn around. I promise you, it's gonna turn around.
They'll hook it up. Alexandria, a day in a life. I know that you are SGA president. You have a busy schedule. You are busy running the school from a student perspective, right? And you do an amazing job. But talk to me about a day in the life. I know that Director Wilson, you and her work directly together. Talk to me about a day in the life.
For the day in the life, usually my classes don't start until around, on good days, 11 a.m. So I have time, but I'm usually always on campus between anywhere from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on a typical day. I'm in by that time. I usually go to the student activity centers first, talk to the Director Wilson, discuss what are the plans for the day, what do we need done, is there any lingering work for SGA that needs to be done. After that, I go to class, my first class typically. Then I'll come downstairs, probably eat some food. One of my classes was at Harold Washington, so sometimes I travel over there. Sometimes one of my classes didn't start till much later, so I'll come back downstairs, eat food, and then get right to work and be in SGA mode all day. And then I'll go to my last class for the day, and I'll probably sit around a little bit longer if I have any more meetings or anything of the sort, and then I'll go home.
Excellent. Chris, talk to me about a day in the life. I know energy is big, right?
Yeah.
A real good energy about yourself is big. Talk to me about a day in a life at Daily for you.
Well, for me, my day starts really early. So I'm always in school by 8 a.m. I always got something to do. I'll normally be in class for like the first 6 hours of my day. And then after that, I normally get a little break. Normally at Daily, there's always some type of event going on through SGA or PTK. We have a lot of fundraisers on campus. I know for African Heritage Month, we had a huge celebration going on the entire month. We had a lot of music, a lot of like just African culture around the school. So we really like to highlight a lot of the cultural aspects from all our perspectives. Just make it feel more diverse, make everybody feel comfortable. But personally, after I'm done with classes, I normally grab me something to eat, and then I'm right off to work as a star ambassador. I'm running around. My boss, Rafael Godina, shout out to him. He's always got me running around doing something, whether it's him asking me to grab him a bottle of water or just literally having, like, I was like his errand boy at one point, always having me run around doing something.
He gonna get you for that. He gonna get you for that. Shout out to Godina. What's up, man?
But yeah, so I mean, literally, there's always a project for us to do on campus. Me and the other star ambassadors. It's like it's never a dull day. We always got something to do, and then if we don't have anything to do, we have something like we create something for ourselves to do, just to keep ourselves busy.
You know, that's excellent. The other thing that I continue to hear you guys, and I'll continue to bring it back, right? Because I want listeners to know how often you mention the people that you work with, how often you mention your advisor or your teacher, or in your instance, Ms. Carrie, your director, Danica Wilson, director Godina, right? Director of Enrollment Management there at Daly. It's interesting, right? Those ties, some of the relationships you'll never forget. All right, we're gonna run through a few of these questions because they're coming in big time. One of the things that students ask most often is, do we live on campus? Is there a way for me to live on campus? And one of the questions, right, they want you to talk about it. And if you can briefly just slide through it. Is there a disadvantage not having a dorm? Talk to me about what that feels like for you. Go ahead, Miss Carrie.
So I actually I don't live on campus. I actually like the fact that I don't live on campus because I can go home to my own house, to my own bed. So it doesn't feel like a disadvantage for me.
Okay, Ms. Carr.
I mean, I like being home. Like I said, I'm not really a people person, but I can like in person. I can be public. So I just feel like the space of having my own space and going outside and seeing my family instead of seeing people I have to live with. I feel like it's better just being in my own area. I don't feel like a disadvantage either. I mean,
Okay.
besides the getting back
Mr.
and forth,
Petty?
that's fine.
No disadvantage to me. I actually live pretty close to Daly, so it only takes me like 5 minutes to commute back and forth. But sometimes I do try to get out the house, so it's like I'm kind of looking forward to getting ready to transfer so I can be on my own for a little bit. But you know, the advantage of staying home. Your mama and your daddy, they always cooking, so nothing wrong with that. You ain't gotta spend your money all the time, so that's what I would probably say. Like, can't complain.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. This is for you, SGA President Carrie. What advice would you give another student on how to be successful with City College? If you had to give 3 bullets, what would you say it takes to be successful as a City College student?
To use your resources.
Okay.
Know your purpose on that campus.
Know your purpose on that. I would have you elaborate, but we may come back to that because that's important. Go ahead.
Use your resources, know your purpose on your campus, and never forget the goal.
Never forget the goal. Stay focused, right? Have a focus. I'm going to put a question mark because you and I are going to come back to that. Christopher Petty, if I eliminated cost and location, I heard you say, look, I'm a star scholar. I go to school for free. And I've also heard you say through this conversation that you live near Daly. If I eliminated both of those, why would you choose City Colleges to attend?
Personally, for me, I would choose City Colleges Daly, particularly because they just, compared to a 4-year university, City Colleges, we're here to like really focus and build you up as a person. That's the main goal here. So there's a lot of individualization, like when it comes to you. So personally, for me, there's always somebody there that's willing to help you. Like for me, like I said earlier, my academic advisor, she's been there since day one. I've even managed to build a few relationships with professors on campus, and I've really seen their passion. They really want to build the next generation of the world. So it's amazing to see the passion within the staff and faculty and wanting to build the students.
That's excellent. Ms. Carr, for you, I know you talked about this a little bit earlier, but could you elaborate on the dynamics, right? Explain the quality of instruction from your professors. I think one of the things that students tend to, you know, as I work with students, the question is, am I going to get the same level of education or the same from an advisor or from an instructor standpoint? What are the rigors? Is it going to be just as hard if I was at a Northwestern or Northern Illinois? Can you talk about the level in terms of the classes that you're taking?
Okay, I'm gonna give 2 different examples. My humanities teacher's amazing. She's very interactive. She knows everybody's names. Like I kid you not, I think it was like 30 some kids in there. She knows every one of your names. She just not favoritism. It's not she spends so much time with this kid and not this kid. Everybody has the same opportunity as they do. But I'm gonna give her an example of another teacher who feels like do everything online, doesn't really lecture. You ask questions, they answer. It could be a rhetorical question, but it's not like they're trying to be difficult. It's just more of they're trying to give you ready. It's if you want to go to 4 year, then this is the possibility it can be. It's
Mm,
not more of a they're just trying to be rude. No, they're just trying to bring you in ready if you want to go to a 4 year.
I appreciate the way you explain that because you said it's not that they're being mean, that's their style, and you're getting both ends, right? You're seeing it from both angles. It seems like some of the instructors, they'll work with you a little bit more, they'll engage a little bit more, but that other instructor, they engage in a different way. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wonderful. All right. This is for all three of you guys. And we got about 20 more minutes, but I want you to take some time because this is a good one. If you could go back and inform your high school counselor on one thing you wish that they would have told you about city colleges, what would that be? So if you could, I'm not trying to make y'all younger, but because I know y'all growing up, but if you can go back and sit in front of your counselor and wish that there was one thing that they would have told you, what would that be? Let's start with you. Let's start with you, Chris.
That's a good question. It's really got me thinking. What I would probably say is what I wish my counselor would have really told me. I'd probably say just really like how I was talking about, just how they individualize like everything that you do at at community colleges. Like they really want to focus in on you. Like if you want to transfer, then that's what we're going to do. We're going to help you transfer. We're going to make sure that you're prepared for the 4 year university. So it's like that stepping stone. So I wish they would have really told me like if you don't think that you're ready for that 4 year, you should go to 2 year. It's that building stepping stone. So like you get a feel of college, like everything's in one building. You'll know the ins and outs, and then once you're ready to go off to that 4 year, now you know where everything is, even if it's broken up into like 13 different buildings. You'll know where you need to go, how you need to do it, and when you need to do it.
Excellent, excellent. Ms. Carr, what's the one thing you wish they would have, not that they didn't advise you correctly, but what was the one thing that maybe you wish they would have, that you wish they would have told you?
I mean, I feel like I was almost like real prepared, but I feel like the connections were more important to me. Like the resource of having a therapist and having somebody to talk to about your feelings, emotions. I wish they told me that I was actually going to have that and not going to be like the one in a million student on a campus and nobody knows about. Like, no, you walk in and it's completely like, how was your day? And they really care. I feel like the connection was more important to me than anything because now I know that I don't have to go there. And if I'm going through something, I have nobody to talk to. No, I know I can go somewhere. And there's more. I have family, friends, all that. That's what they are. Our Party is their family. Community college, the city college is a family. And I feel like they should elaborate that you get more connections than anything.
It's more connections. It's funny you hit on the wellness centers across the city colleges do a wonderful job at engaging with our students, and just making sure that, to your point, Ms. Carr, that you have a landing space when in time of need you just need to talk. And so we want to make sure that we highlight our wellness centers throughout the district because they do an absolutely wonderful job, especially during this time. This virtual transition was huge. Miss Carrie, what's the one thing, right, that you perhaps wish they would have talked to you about?
That just because you're a student of community college does not mean you have to fall into the stereotypical community college student.
Okay. A question came in, and yeah, I think it's an excellent one. How was your first year? Real quick. How was your first year, right? We talked about your first day on campus, Ms. Carr. Mr. Christopher Petty, how was your first year?
My first year was easy. Going into the first semester, it was a breeze. I finished with a 4.0, and I was like, wait, this is college? I'm like, this still feels like high school. There's no way that this could be college. So going into my second semester, I started to struggle a little bit because I was like, okay, first semester was easy. Cause I was able to kind of like blow off some of the work, just like push it off to last minute. And then I got into second semester where I was taking physics, chemistry, a lot more heavier based classes, and I try to like leave it off to the last minute. And I was like, okay, I can't do this. I can't do that. So it was like I was able to learn something throughout my second semester, managed to pick it back up, and then just go from there. So I'd say overall it was a pretty good first year.
Excellent. Another question came in. We are moving into the Q&A portion. Thank you all so very much. Once again, this is the student panel. I've been looking forward to this. I love talking to students because I think you all empower one another in ways that you would never imagine. There are people listening, making decisions based on your energy, Ms. Carr, and based on your answers, Ms. Carrie, and based on how cool your hair is, Chris. No. Just based on the way you guys are presenting yourselves, right? And so please understand that that's powerful and you are appreciated today. Here's another question from the audience. How were you able to decide what career, as you move forward, how are you able to decide what career you want to pursue? And how does your classes help/teach and prepare you for those future careers? I'll give that one to you, Ms. Carrie. Did you hear it?
Can you repeat it one more time?
So how were you able to decide what career you want to pursue? And how does your current class load help you prepare and teach you for future careers? How are your classes helping you as you plan your career?
Okay, so the career that I chose, I'm choosing to be a major student in political science. I chose that based off some of my life experience when it comes to the political system and lawyers and court of laws and things like that. The way my college and my advisor prepares me is we sit down and actually all the classes that she chooses, I choose to take are a direct correlation to the college that I want to transfer to. So she ensures she looks up their program, sees what classes that they have that are in common with Truman. And from there, I pick my classes. So it's a direct correlation to my degree.
It's a direct correlation. And so there's a plan in place.
There is a plan in place.
And you're working directly with your advisor to kind of craft that plan. And so is it safe to say that you can see your pathway to success from the minute you kind of walk in the door?
Yes.
Excellent. And here's why I kind of walk that way, because yesterday, right? Obviously on Monday we had the leaders, the presidents. Yesterday we had a chance to talk to the academic portion of the colleges, and we worked with a faculty member and an advisor, and the stories mirror one another. We talked about the importance of sitting with a student and not just giving them classes, but coaching them through this process, right? Making sure they clearly understand what that path looks like. And it's nothing better than having a plan, knowing from semester to semester what the goal is. I have to take this prerequisite to get to this class, so forth and so on. Because when you have the plan, right, when it's written down, they say when it's written down, it is said. And so, Ms. Carr, I heard you earlier mention your relationship with your advisor. Is your plan kind of laid out in terms of how you move forward into a four-year university, or maybe even into a career?
Well, based on my major, culinary, I don't really have to attend a 4-year. My 4-year would be more of a college experience. So talking to her about the school that I decided to go to, is basically more of a 9-month plan, but I still want the college experience, which is why I'm at the community colleges right now. So talking to her about just go to Kennedy, take your culinary classes, and you can get them out the way. But I honestly, with my school, talking to my school, the upper higher, I don't really need the classes. I can go there and start and be done in 9 months. But I want the experience. So I was like, well, I can get a backup degree, okay, come here, have something to fall back on, like a safety net. So she came up with the idea, and she laid it out and was like, okay, this is the classes you take and this is what you're gonna do. And I feel like that was very helpful.
Interesting. So, obviously we've talked a lot about, and I can't I'll keep saying it. Thank you all so very much. I'm just giddy. I'm excited. We've talked a lot about the traditional path of student that comes directly from college that had quality grades. What are your interactions or what are your thoughts around students who may not have had the best grades, may not know necessarily what that path looks like right now, may not necessarily, it's just a non-traditional way of attending college. What would be your advice to someone maybe that is in a gap year, that have graduated from high school, didn't necessarily come directly to college? What would be your advice to them about getting into school? Christopher.
So I would say for me, I actually know a few people that I graduated with that decided to take a gap year that actually ended up coming to Daly the following year. But what advice I would say for them is this is college, so it's going to be a fresh start. So just like, I'd really say just put your best foot forward and really just put in all your effort into college, because it does have a different feeling from high school. Like nobody's there to really get on you about your homework assignments. Like, oh, you need to turn this in. Make sure you do this. Make sure you do that. They may tell you like once or twice, okay, make sure you turn it in. But after that, you're on your own. So what I would really say is you just got to really build yourself and prepare to be just to be more sufficient in your in what you do.
Okay. One of the other questions that came in, Ms. Carrie, and if you can help, from a diversity standpoint, I heard you mention earlier, Truman is the most diverse campus. And in some instances, I know you're referencing culturally, but also there's diversity in how we learn. What are some of the accommodations that you see in Truman around diverse learners, students who learn in a different way? I heard Ms. Carrie mentioned earlier, look, I'm a hands-on. She's a kinesthetic learner. She puts me in the mind of myself, right? What are some of the accommodations that you see throughout the campus for our diverse learners?
So that's when I go back to saying use your resources. So we have a center for literally every subject you can think of. So we have a math center, a writing center, a reading center. There's also a center for advanced learners. There's a center to help students to comprehend reading. So it's a plethora of resources, and that's the diverse part of it, because you may have a student that's amazing at math that may not need the math center, but needs more reading comprehension. So they can go to the reading center or they can go to the advanced center depending on what they're looking for.
I think you hit it on the head. One of the things that I want to make strong mention of is across the city colleges, I know in particular at Truman, the academic support centers, right? They are ran with an efficiency that allows students in any course for a personalized learning session in particular subjects. And I'm sure that goes on in and throughout the city colleges in reference to really understanding that there's help. You talked about resources, and so there's help. Ms. Laura, did you have, yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'd like to interject, sorry. So I'm one of the associate deans of instruction at Truman. And really kind of our motto at the city colleges is that we meet students where they are, whether it's, a variety in cultures, knowledge, experience, practices, language. We have, free adult ed courses for students that are learning English, like whatever it is, the city colleges meet you where you are. We do have very diverse faculty, staff, and student bodies that are really there to support, all of our students along the way.
Excellent. Thank you so much. We're going to end up here, guys. I think you've done a phenomenal job. Thank you so much, Laura, for that. I think you guys have done a phenomenal job at highlighting some of the quality components of city colleges, but also keeping it real about some of your struggles and some of the things that you've been able to overcome and some of the obstacles you still feel like you're working through, right? And we have about 10 minutes left here, and I have a couple of questions. What's the one current behavior that you feel like you exhibit that if you stop doing that, you wouldn't be as successful? If you had to pinpoint one behavior that is really motivating you and pushing you through to get this done, and you eliminate it, you just stop doing it and take you in a different direction, what do you think that would be? What's that one behavior, Ms. Carr?
Um, one behavior. I feel like for me, it's just my dedication. The fact that I really want to be, I want to be something great, and I want to do something where I want to have a purpose. My purpose in life, the need for my purpose in life. I feel like without that, I probably just procrastinate everything and probably won't even do it.
Excellent. Chris?
I'd probably say the same thing. Just my drive to really get things done, to really want to be successful.
And Miss Carrie?
Uh, Taking chances.
Hmm. Elaborate a little bit. That's
um, so most decisions that you make are kind of a chance. They're not an exact that it will work. So going to community college was a chance for me, and it ended up working. Running for student government president was a chance for me, and it ended up working. So if I stopped taking chances, I would not be able to grow and have the growth that I have today.
yeah. Part of as I read through John C. Maxwell, risk taking is a huge leadership characteristic, right? Taking risk, calculated in that, but really to your point, chancing it, understanding that there's a foundation. You're not really worried about the outcome more than if you don't take the chance, you won't really sit well with yourself. And so I appreciate that answer. Here, as we come to the end, guys, um, I want us to all take a stab at this. What do you want our listeners, what do you want them to leave away today knowing about the myriad of programs, both adult ed, continuing ed, credit courses, um, some of the student activities that we offer, our academic support centers? What do you want our listeners to leave away today knowing about city colleges from your perspective? I'll start with you, Ms. Carr.
I feel like the biggest impact I ever had from Olive Harvey was the Wellness Center. They help with everything when it comes to making resumes. I mean, there's a center for that too, but they help too when it comes to finding housing options when you don't have the opportunities. When it comes to just needing someone to talk to, needing like small materials like feminine products or like hygiene products, they have it. I feel like that's all I need in one. Like I feel like that's the best program that I've ever witnessed. And I feel like that's the biggest for me because, like I said, connections are what makes me who I am. So I feel like if you ever feel like you're gonna go there and you're gonna fall off and not have anybody to keep you pushing, meet with a therapist or meet with a counselor. Like they're gonna be there for you. Even your advisor. Them too, yeah. Those are my biggest points.
Excellent. Ms. Carey, what do you want our audience to leave with knowing today from your perspective?
Um, so it's important to understand that the school is itself. So any program you're a part of, any extracurricular organization, all the centers are here for you. One student from Truman, her name is Precious. Shout out to Precious. She did say that it is important that you don't pass through a school, but letting the school pass through you. And I think that's important because your experience and anything that you attend or anything that you're a part of, your experience is what you make it.
Mm. Y'all dropping nuggets. Chris, it's time for you to take us home. I want you guys to know that I absolutely have chills. I am so proud of you all today because this change, it can't be easy, right? Well, it could be as easy as you make it. But in working with you guys today, I know that it's liberating other students. I know that the ones that are listening are saying, okay, let me get up because it's possible. And so I'm gonna get to you, Chris, but I'm just extremely proud. And I know that CCC as a whole is proud of you guys today for representing on this call. So Christopher, I want you to, before I close it all the way out, I want you to take us home. What are your thoughts around what you want the community, community college community to know from your perspective?
So one thing, like both these ladies are saying, wellness center and just making school what it is. Those are definitely two highlights I would go with. But for me personally, I would say taking advantage of the Star Scholarship. So if for any of you out there that are Star Scholars and do take that opportunity, I would highly recommend applying for the Star Ambassador program. It's a paid program. It's what I do. I go out to talk to other high school students. I go to a lot of events and just really talk about the spread awareness about Star Scholarship. And so I'd really say that this has been the best experience that I've had with daily college so far is just being able to see both ends of the school from a faculty standpoint and from a student standpoint. So I get to see both sides of it. And so really, if you guys really have that opportunity, I would definitely take advantage of that. But most importantly, really try to build a relationship with your academic advisor. Honestly, those are that's gonna be like your right hand man or right hand woman through most situations. They're gonna really be there for you, and they're that real support. They help you with. They know what classes you need to take. They know where you they can help you get into what schools you want to transfer into. It's just you got to work with them.
Excellent. And Chris, thank you so much. The Star Scholarship, I've always said, is one of the best kept secrets, right? Be average student as a CPS student, you
Yep.
attend city colleges for free. Same
Yep.
courses, your Englishes, your maths, your sciences, right?
Yep.
And you're then able, with our partner schools, you're then able to go on and transfer, in some instances, receiving funds for transferring to that school as well.
Yes.
An incredible opportunity to help out your family, right? Help out your
Yep.
family from a financial situation, as it's a partnership when you begin to make these decisions, right? And I often challenge students. I take a piece of paper and I fold it in half as I talk about the Star Scholarship. And I say, hey, take this home and give it to your mom or your dad or your guardian and say, hey, my first 2 years of college are paid for. You don't have to worry about anything. They're going to give me tuition, books. They're even going to give me a venture card in some instances to get to and from. All right. All you got to do is feed me a little bit, but I got everything else, right?
Yep.
So I want our audience to understand the power of the Star Scholarship. I want to thank you all, Mr. Christopher Petty, Daly College, Miss Carr. I want to thank you so much. I know you and I kind of talked back and forth. Your energy has been absolutely incredible. Olive Harvey Panthers, and the one and only Alexandria Carrie, Truman College. My name is Kiss Allen Glover. I've been your moderator for today's panel. Remember, www.ccc.edu/virtual week, as tomorrow we'll end up our panel with parents. It's time to hear from the parents. We're going to have an excellent time. We want to thank our partners. First, we want to thank Juan Salgado, Chancellor of City Colleges, as well as our partners, City of Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, and CEO for Chicago Public Schools, Dr. Janice Jackson.